Is that too much? Is that too big of a question?
Yeah, I think this will be the last time I come on the show, but while I'm still here.
Hello and welcome to Center for Victory's podcast of Your Best Day Yet. At Center for Victory, we're here to help unlock, reinforce, and enrich relationships through personal and professional development. I'm Eric Guy, Chief Victory Officer here at the Center for Victory. With me today is a repeat offender, hopefully another repeat offender down the road, because I so enjoy talking with this man. Can't get enough of him. And we've actually been together so much this week, and I still have so much to talk to him about and unpack. The one, the only, Mr. Jay Duran of Culture Matters. Welcome back, Jay.
Pleasure is all yours.
It is. So one of the things I want to get into, Jay, real quick, because I want to have enough time to do all this, because I could just talk and talk and talk, especially since what we've been through this week together. We were at a fascinating speaker. You happened to catch him twice, which is amazing. All right, in and of itself, because you just happened to be in two different cities that he was in. Dr. Jordan B. Peterson was here in Pittsburgh, and Jay and I, with a lovely group of other people, had the opportunity of listening to him and then hearing another question and answer period, privately from him. And you did the same thing. You turned around and did the same thing Thursday, correct, Jay? Same deal, right? And you got your picture taken again for a second time, all that, and he says, did he recognize you?
It so yeah, I'm walking up to Dr. Peterson, and it was like that moment where he looks at me, and it was special for me. It felt
Yeah.
because a hero, well earned, and he was like kind of trying to place it, and he's like, I know the exact words he used, I don't recall. I'm not good with that. It was a
Yeah.
feeling and an intuition, and he goes something to the effect of, I know you from somewhere. And I said, yeah, Tuesday, I just saw you Tuesday. And so he immediately said, how did I do
Yeah.
tonight? Like, what was how did I do tonight versus Tuesday?
Yeah, which I want to
And
know,
I
because
said,
I want to I want
go
I
ahead.
want
Yeah,
that
yeah.
answer. No, I want that answer. So keep going.
I believe I said, unbelievable. For me, it was unbelievable that I actually expected him, and I'll tell you my full answer.
Yeah.
I expected I expected a similar talk. What I got, I would say less than 5% was the similar. It was 95%. I was so impressed. I was so impressed. The word was unbelievable because I didn't believe it. I mean, I believe it, but I didn't believe it. Um, and so I said that, and I said, see, at the end of Thursday night, Dr. Jordan Peterson actually got choked up at the last sentence when he said something to the effect of, you, like to all of us, you will spend the rest of your life answering these questions. These questions: what is real? And you know, is there, is there God? And like, what is faith? And he was telling, he was saying, you will, and he got choked up, and I did not witness that on Tuesday. I was the one crying the whole time Tuesday for 2 hours, crying and living in my pride for things I believe I've done and worked on, and shame and guilt and fear of what I've yet to do. I was crying, and I was sitting right in the middle, in the front, and he keeps looking at me.
Yeah.
Is how I felt because of his, either he was or he was just really looking at everyone,
Yeah.
which I think it's the latter.
Yeah.
Um, so I said to him, unbelievable, because I felt that that was the case, unbelievable. And I said, and you're molting. I said, unbelievable, because the content was 5% and then 95. How you got to where you're going was totally different. And I said, and you're molting, and I'm with you. That's what I remember saying. I remember saying unbelievable, and him acknowledging that and appreciating that, and then me adding, and you're molting because of that last sentence, and I'm with you. Now, keep in mind, they've told us, multiple occasions not to elucidate on our thoughts when we meet Dr. Peterson, or else we're never going to get out of there. So I wasn't planning on saying anything to him.
All right.
When he is acknowledging, like, yeah, he asked, I don't remember how he said it. Basically, where do I know you from? I know you. And I said, yeah, it was Tuesday night. And then he asked me how he did, and I said, unbelievable. And that was quick. And then I added, based on your last sentence, I think, you're molting, and I'm with you. And his response was like, he was just there. He was listening. He listens.
Yeah.
It was a special moment for me.
I
I've
bet it
met him a
was.
couple times now in this
Yeah.
capacity. Third time. The first time I asked him for a hug, that was like months and months and months and months ago. And the second time was Tuesday. Took a picture with Jenna and the team. And then Thursday, yes, I was hoping that he would remember to some degree. Who wouldn't? And then he asked what he thought he could do better. I'm sorry. He asked, how did he do? What he thought he could do better. I think he thinks how he can do better. Always. That's the vibe I get interacting with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I said what I thought, which is what I think. I think he's molting. I think he's shedding and evolving, and I'm with him. And that was my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right about that, but I shared with him what I thought.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I know the gentleman that was with him Tuesday night, the guy that his director, agent, I don't know what his actual title is, but one of the things that he said to me when we were backstage there was, it's not going to be different Thursday night. Like, because I think I had mentioned that you were going to be there again Thursday, that you were going to get to see him Thursday, and the guy's like, it won't be the same. I'm like, I believe that, and now I want to
Oh,
go.
let me explain to you. I'll just repeat. It was, first of all, you and I had an interesting conversation the other day about Elijah.
Right.
And guess who comes up in this?
No kidding. Oh,
At length. So I'm thinking of you. So I was thinking of you. He was talking about Elijah. Even the stories around Moses were different. It was a head, from my interpretation, it was a headier experience.
Mm-hmm.
I can't recall a lot of it because I was so taken back. I was thinking so much about how different it was from the first one. And so admiring and in awe, and it was emotional in a different way. This is a true teacher teaching.
Yes.
And has an audience to teach. And it was beautiful. Like I said, 5%. There's a couple important points. Obviously, there are propositions he's putting forth, and there's underlying theories, the story. There's endless stories in his bag of in his arsenal, his cadre of wisdom. And yeah, it's something where I wouldn't be surprised if we went to 52 shows. We'd have 52 different experiences. And of course, the more you're inculcated in any literature, you start to put together what's unsaid and develop a framework. And that's why Nietzsche said the student that does not outshine the master has let both himself and the master down. Jordan is a great teacher for sure. And I'm excited for number 4 and 5 because I am going in yet two more times with two different groups of people, and I'm just working on the other
Wow.
the Boston trip and that's still a little uncertain, but I'm definitely going to DC with some friends and maybe one more. I want to get some other. I mean, obviously, I plan on going a whole bunch. It's worth it. So yeah, like to know them better.
Yeah, I'd like to. Boy, man, like to tag along because I'd like. I mean, I was so fired up to talk to you today just to see what the difference was.
It was profound, and like as long as we bring a group of 10 people and each person, this is this is recorded, but I'm still gonna make a stupid joke. Each person, because we were joking about this Tuesday night. I was remember when you like I forgot my name.
Yeah,
And then it's like, yeah, just introduce yourself as Jay Duran.
yeah,
Guess I want to be,
yeah.
I want to be
Say Durant. Well,
so
you don't.
selfish,
I
so
remember the
selfish.
name, but you don't look the same.
I'm so selfish. Yeah, it was a special experience, even for people that may not identify with any of his work or literature. If you have a love for learning or teaching, seeing someone uh, in their element
Yeah,
teaching
like
is a
that
beautiful act.
at that level was
Yeah.
amazing, and I think that's why I need to go do it again, just because at first you're because I don't hold a lot of people that high. I don't know about you, um, but he's very passionate. He knows what he's talking about. He's willing to defend what he's talking about. He's willing to stand up for what he believes. Again, you don't have to whether you like him or not. It's irrelevant. He is a master at what he does. And so one of the things I want to go back to one of the things you said, Jay, and I want to tie it into something I heard Tuesday. Um, you said to him, "You're molting, and so am I with you." Right. One of the things he talked about Tuesday uh, was Moses and the burning bush, and about when Moses was confronted with the burning bush. Obviously, that grabs your attention, but he was told to take off his shoes, as the story goes. Right, and goes back to your point. You're molting. Uh, really, the whole piece of take off your shoes for what where you're standing is hollowed ground, meaning abandoning who you are. So that goes back to the question that I have for you, right? You didn't get to where you're at overnight. You've learned. You've gone through iterations of Jay, right? Uh, how have you in the past? I mean, this is a pretty loaded question, but how have you abandoned who you are? Even if you want to just go like 6, 12 months ago, like what are you learning? What's the new things that you're doing? How are you challenging yourself? How are you coming in and getting grounded again, so to speak, as Moses beside the burning bush? And how do you abandon who you are to get to who you need to become? Is that too much? Is that too big of a question?
Yeah, I think this will be the last time I come on the show, but while I'm still here, it was I was in a meeting. I was in a meeting and it came about that the pavement group did letters to clients, like thank you notes. It was somewhere around that time that I had listened to an audiobook called The Education of a Value Investor. I highly recommend it by Guy Spear to anyone that I just highly recommend it. And in that book, he talked about thank you notes.
Mm-hmm.
couple years ago, I had Ben Newman on the Culture Marriage podcast, and I had just been given this box of memorabilia from when I was a child, when my biological mother like was writing to me and in my life, and different paperwork around that. And I had found these letters in there from her. I had never opened the box, but I opened it on the show with Ben and read one of the letters.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on the Culture Matters podcast somewhere. I don't know what episode that is off the top of my head. 100 something. So I made a decision or a decision was made for me, and I rose to the occasion. I don't know. But because Schopenhauer, you could do what you want, you can't want what you want. And so 2023, I started writing. It started as gratitude letters, notes, but really letters. Because if I didn't, finish a whole page, I didn't really get enough to my recipient. And so that has maintained since starting.
And I
it's
can attest to that, Jay. Wait, I have yours hanging right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's transforming me. I feel closer to my mother.
Uh-huh.
We talked about this recently on the Brian Hess show, like, because he asked me something to the effect of like, what's it like? And I couldn't even answer because it's like having all these people with me. Yeah, it's like a piece of my soul. Kudos to him for telling me to certify them too, because some of my soul has been lost forever throughout the United States due to the inefficiency of the United States Postal Service. So I started certifying these letters. So, and as life would have it, I wrote a letter. Well, I wrote a letter to my biological mother, Linda. I've yet to give it to her because I've got to find her at first.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in my bag with me. I've written letters to not all of the employees of the payment group, but I'll get, one by one. And I've written to Brian and his wife and children, and I want to thank everybody for the influence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that recently at the Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholder meeting, one of my friends that I met there the first go around, who I've written to, that lives in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
told me, because I met up with him again and got to meet his girlfriend Emily. His name's Alec Arena Security. He's been on the show 4 times. Got to introduce him to Brian. We were all there, and he said, "Hey, Guy Spear, this is the author of that book.
Yeah.
He's going to be, because according to X, he's going to be outside on the south side of the building at 6 a.m. So that's where we're going to go stand." So somebody that I built a relationship with, stayed in contact in the written form. We have become friends, very close. He's like, Guy Spear is going to be there. I end up seeing him online. I've written him a letter. He's written me back.
Yeah.
I wrote him a letter because a guy that I met on the plane, on a plane, told me, because he knows him, some random guy sitting next to me on a plane, saw me writing letters and said, "You should write to Guy Spear." I can't make this up.
Wow.
So I wrote to him. He wrote back. So I go up to the group. There's like a bunch of people surrounding him. It's like 5 a.m. Everyone's waiting online to get in. Doesn't open till like 8 or 9 or whatever. And or 7. It was like 5 a.m. And it came to the point in that conversation where he's like, who here has received something from me? And I raised my hand. And I had the opportunity to show him and everyone that was there, like, hey, I write letters and you're part of the reason. And now he's agreed because I introduced Alec to him and Alec pitched him hard on coming on the podcast. So he's coming on the podcast. That is something that's something which is dedicating time to think about the people that are in my life, the people like yourself in my life, and to communicate in the written form, like, and be intentional, invest time. It started with gratitude and it's evolved into, I don't even know what.
Yeah, and I want to go back to it because I don't want people to hear that as just a technique because they probably missed a couple things in here, especially if they're not watching. When you started talking about that, your face changed and you got a little emotional about it. Um, and obviously, I know because when you told me you were doing this, you got emotional about it too, and you're very passionate about it, especially going all the way to certifying these letters. I have mine. Um, I certainly appreciated it enough to hang on my wall right in front of me in my studio uh, because of our relationship. Uh, what what was going on? I'm curious. What was going on as you just told that story? What was some of that emotion about? Do you mind sharing?
I have no idea. I it's a connection. Yeah, desire. I think I've always felt like Humpty Dumpty, trying to piece myself back together.
Okay.
And I think there's it's like I feel connected. I'm trying to become more connected to people more. I think it's like the love that's in me. That's like I have no idea.
Okay. Let's take it a step further.
Yeah.
What's important about that?
Which part?
That connection for you?
I don't know.
I just want people to hear like this has been a progression for you, for Jay. It's
This is
important.
about me.
Yeah.
Like I'm aware that this is about I am trying to open up.
Right.
I am trying to become a leader.
Mm-hmm.
I am trying to I yeah, I'm trying to connect to my gifts, to my talents, to my I feel I've loved people. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
lover. I desire love. I want to give love. I'm so I'm no, one of the main reasons I consciously started writing letters to people was because I've 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 not made all the people in my life that are important to me a priority. And the writing to people and investing that time to think is me trying to show them, and make them a priority. Because it's sacrifice. There's a it's like everything's a trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
There's consequences. There's been a lot of consequences to choosing to move from home. There's been consequences move state to state. There's consequences to every Thanksgiving I've not attended, every birthday party of family that I've not participated in, every call not made, every call not called called back. And there's nothing I can do to turn time back. So, and all the regrets and the guilt and the my enemies. I've collected so many enemies over the years. I'd like to at least address that.
Mm-hmm.
The written form is one medium to do so. It's like I'm not just writing to people that I like. I'm writing to people that I don't really care for too much.
That's interesting.
I'm writing to everyone. Now, how much of this is some type of obsessive compulsive addictive quality? Well, it's better than methamphetamine. How much of it is refusing not to sleep on airplanes and instead write while I'm on them? How much of it is, feeling close to my mother, Linda, who wrote to me, and like harnessing that? How much of it is Dr. Jordan P. Peterson talked about instinct, the call, the instinct, the things that just they take over you. You, he would use the example of studying for a test that you're not interested in the topic. This comes naturally. It's not painful.
Mm-hmm.
It's purpose filled. It's enjoyable. It's therapeutic. It
Calling.
can be creative.
A calling.
Yeah. And the letter, the written form is one medium of expressing my call to, like, if I'm thinking about writing to Eric, I'm thinking about what I think about you and us and things I'm excited about, and quotes come to mind, and I collect quotes in my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll look through my phone and a quote will appear, and then I will like, that leads me down this path of how I want to share this quote with this person and where I think that fits in with them. And before I know it, I've got this whole story that I can give to somebody. And there's no, I mean, yes, I have written out a handful of proposals to people through these letters. I mean, our attorney, shout out to Peter, who will be on the show. At one point, he said he would. I sent him some kind of business plan, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't read this. The handwriting and the pictures." So, I mean, I've sent more than enough business plans out in the written form now at this point. That's one thing that I'm doing, or I've just started doing the last few years. And it's not like it's been a few weeks. It's been a year, over a year, and almost a half that I've been consistently writing. And I know after having done 30 days of thought, writing is something that helps me with my ups and downs. Writing is something that is likely a constructive component to the best of who I can be. So that's one thing that I've been doing. Another thing that I've been doing is introducing people to people. Something that I had not done in years, as I became more isolated from culture, having not spoken in a long time and really been among people, but more so siloed behind the scenes in the inner workings and in the development of other people's cultures and other people's businesses. And that was a much needed respite, because I used to only speak because I didn't feel heard, and therefore I was not the best leader or person, more of a caricature. And so I got away from I went away from the crowd, away from the stage.
Mhm.
It became more behind the scenes. And like that creates a whole host of other consequences and problems. So another thing I've done as of recent, like the last months, is introduce people to people. So I call you, I'll call Bob, Eric, meet Bob, or is there
Mhm.
Bob? This is, or Eric, and
Yeah.
this is what he does, and this is why, and this is how, and this is what I think, and why I think he likes me, and why I think he'd like you. And Bob, this is Eric. Eric, Bob is this person, does this and doesn't do that, and likes it. And I just don't talk from the my heart. I don't plan that out or something like, oh, this is whatever he say, and then
And
just
and it's
hit
always
mute.
been good.
I just hit mute. Let people get to know each other. I look at that as a cultural act.
Yeah.
If I have a relationship with Eric and I have a relationship with Bob, an actual one, it's like a vulnerability to put them both together.
Yeah.
And so those are two things that I'm doing that I was not doing to be better, to lead better, to be more vulnerable, transparent, more
To grow,
courageous.
right? What we started talking about was just abandoning who you were to get to who you are and then eventually who you want to be.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I want to be everything I can be, and I don't know everything I can be. Constantly unlearning. Uh, there was a point where all I did was listen to books and speak. That 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 created a lot of issues because I mean it's just downright rude if you're not going to listen.
Mhm.
Um, that was lonely. I mean, I could get you can get results list like having a lot of information and giving it, but that was lonely. Then I started writing more. So 30 Days of Thought was like read to think, write to develop, listen to hear what is unsaid. I'm sorry, no, not listen to hear what is unsaid. It's nowhere in the book. Read to think, write to develop, speak to let go. The process of 30 Days of Thought and the combination of the Culture Matters podcast, interviewing people, preparing, working on that is where the listening came in. So now I can at a higher likelihood turn, open the lever, put it up, put it down, like a dam. We need water, open it up. We need shut the water off. Whereas in the past, it was just water. I think I drown everything and everyone around me, and it create a lot of issues. Antisocial, or just like pain, shame, and issues, and uh, I'm still very resentful of the whole thing, frankly, because I want to be accepted for who I am and what I have to offer. But uh, it doesn't mean I need to be. Uh, to be a person, I think I had to learn how to listen.
Mhm.
So,
So what's last question here, Jay? What's the next what do you think the next iteration is for the culture man?
to my awareness, it's the stage again, taking the stage again in a less, uh, in a new way,
Mhm. How
taking the
so?
stage, standing before the crowd.
How's it different this time?
I've been told that I'm a better listener. I feel as though I don't want to actually. It's a different. I don't care for it. I don't care. So that's different. Uh, the stage is it's like a test. If you're going before the stage without, if you're going before the crowd without an audience that has already made up their mind that you should be there, then it's a test. If I'm going before a crowd that already perceives I should be there, it's less a test and more of a, it's a different type of test. You know, it can be deceiving, frankly. It's like, what's my fame is not real. So what's different? I think I'm ready to do. I have some things to say that I'd like to say. There's things I'd like to say, and I need to be tested by the feedback of what I say. To standing before the crowd is a component of leadership,
Mhm.
and it's important for me. I think it's important for me, important for people to model the lessons. So if I'd like the people around me to be better speakers and leaders, it'll help them to see me do it in ways that elevate and challenge in a constructive manner.
So if you take off your shoes, they might take theirs off too.
I that's all. What else can I do? People, in a sense, we bring the classroom to the students with our work. So I've got to be the whole. I've got to read to think, write to develop, listen to hear what is unsaid, and speak to let go. Reading, writing, speaking, listening. These are things that I have to do I do for myself, and I believe will be necessary and are necessary to grow the companies.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's inside of me. And it always has been. There's never not been.
Right.
How I use it is important because I
Mhm.
don't want to create fires,
Right.
burn houses down. I'd like to put out fires, or maybe even decrease the likelihood that fires happen in the first place. There's a Kierkegaard quote that comes to
Yeah.
mind.
I'm just going to ask you if you had one last thing for the audience here. But we'll end with this.
I take a moment. Yeah. Here it is. A fire broke out backstage in a theater. The clown came out to warn the public. They thought it was a joke and applauded. He repeated it. The acclaim was greater. I think that's just how the world will come to an end. To general applause from wits who believe it's a joke.
Hmm.
Soren Kierkegaard.
All right. We're going to end it on that, Jay, because I could keep talking to you, as most people know, forever and ever and ever. We could, maybe one of these days, we'll just do a jam session, 3 5 hour podcast. But
I think we should start at 5 a.m. and end at 12 p.m. and invite random people on throughout the day.
there you go.
And
Do
I
it,
already have, it was
do it
your
live.
idea. That's what we're going to do.
Wonderful. Well, stay tuned, folks. Jay, thank you, my friend, my brother, for being on here again. Always good talking with you. Always leave with with more questions uh, uh, in my head, things to think about. I hope everybody that's watching and listening, I hope you do too. Hopefully, we're making some sense, and just to inspire you to abandon who you are and to go to that next level with you as well. So it's all for today. Thanks for watching, listening, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. For more information, you can visit our website at centerforvictory.com. And just remember, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, make this your best day yet. We'll see you soon.